afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are here as the firm of Musyoki Mogaka and Company advocates with our managing partner standing right beside me, Mr. Danstan Omari, here to respond because we have the right of rejoinder to some of the statements that have been directly mentioning us as advocates of the High Court of Kenya, but being termed as busybodies by one Director of Public Prosecution, namely Noordin HAJI. Now, we don't know whether he was mentioning us as busybodies in his capacity as the director or if he was mentioning us as Noordin HAJI himself. But we are here to set the record straight. We as advocates of the High Court of Kenya, duly admitted as such, cannot act on our own violation by going to court and lodging applications or petitions in the various courts of justice based on our own motion. We always act under instructions, and we are advocates who are submitting to the ethics that govern advocates of the High Court of Kenya. Each and every application that has been taken to the courts, to any court of law, always has the statements of the person to whom, or the person who has given us those instructions. Therefore, it is not right that a public officer, such as the Director of Public Prosecution, can in his right mind state that we are busybodies, as though we are not acting on instructions. I'm going to mention some of the matters that have been lodged in courts of justice, which is making the Director of Public Prosecutions, Mr. Noordin HAJI, feel as though we are attacking him as a person. No. By virtue of him being a public officer, he should be questioned on matters regarding public interests, matters that have public interest. So far from the applications we have an application that we made suing the Ombudsman to check into the maladministration that is happening in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. That is one. Number two, there's another application where we are now aware by virtue of an activist that they have been, that the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution has been undertaking written examination for interviews and promotions. And these interviews are being done by the advisory board, which is opposite and contrary to the mandate that has been bestowed upon the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. There's also an application which questions the decision by Mr. Noordin HAJI, who declared on the 11th day of April 2022 that he will no longer prefer graft charges on any candidate who is vying for an elective seat. So far from the date he made that declaration, there is no single politician who has been preferred charges true to his declaration and true to his word. Are his guidelines and directives in accordance to the rule of law? Are they in line with public interest? Are the decisions he's making for himself, for his own benefit, or for the benefits of citizens of the Republic of Kenya? Graft is a topic that has been on debate for a very long time. There is no way we can decide to discriminate prosecuting criminals who are undertaking graft and corruption activities for the benefit of the fact that because they are going to get into power, they ought to be granted an immunity. So just because we are loud and fighting against the impunity that has been seen clearly in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution because of the Director of Public Prosecution himself, Mr. Noordin HAJI, is why he feels the need to attack us and call us busybodies. We are advocates of the High Court of Kenya, I reiterate, and that is our position, and we receive instructions. And we do not discriminate on any instructions we get in line with the Cap-Rank rule as we have all been taught in the school of law. Therefore, for him to come and attack us on a person, if he wants to attack us on a person, he should come and defend his petitions. Because so far we have never seen him coming to defend his record or setting the record straight, or even saying that the actions and inactions we are fighting him against have a legal bearing. Therefore, he should not feel like we are attacking him as a person, although at this point now we are attacking him as a person because he is now no longer trying to act in a professional manner, but wants the war between advocates. Yet he is the state officer, or the state office charged with the mandate of prosecuting all criminal matters. Ideally, then, we are the defense advocates. Unless a client comes and asks us to watch brief, we are always on the opposing side. Let him take this in a professional manner and put all personal feelings aside. I reiterate that we are advocates of the High Court of Kenya, and if there's anyone who has a problem with us being advocates and receiving instructions, then they should take it up with the relevant bodies that can address that. Or maybe they try and question our academic certificates the same way we have questioned his academic certificates, which up to date he has failed to support, because up from the minute he was sworn in as the Director of Public Prosecutions, he has never prosecuted any matter. Therefore, it goes without saying that these attacks are personal and they have no basis, and we, as advocates of the High Court of Kenya, at the firm of Musyoki Mogaka, are responding that we only act on instructions. There is no way we will go to court on our own violation, pushing our own agenda, but all the agendas are backed by facts, are backed by evidence, and are before courts of competent jurisdiction for the determination thereof. I will rest my case.
Thank you very much. My name is Danstan Omari Mogaka, born on the 6th of December 1964. I attended Nyamira Primary School, did CPE, got 19 points. Late Noordin is close also. His primary school he went, what grade he got. In 1983, I sat for KCSE and obtained a Division 2 from Gabonyaru Secondary School. Let Noordin Haji produce his Form 4 certificate after he was expelled from Kabarak Secondary School in Form 3. In 1985, I sat for Form 5, Form 6 at Nguga High School and secured 19 points. For Form 6, let Noordin Haji produce his Form 6 certificates. In the year 1990, I graduated with a bachelor's degree in education, second-class lawyers from Kenyatta University. Let Noordin Haji produce his degree in public. In the year 2008, I graduated with a bachelor's degree of law from the prestigious University of Nairobi. Let Noordin produce his LLB degree. In 2011, on the 4th of November 2011, I was admitted as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Let Noordin produce documents when he was admitted. On 2nd of December 2011, I graduated with a master's degree of law from the University of Nairobi. Let Noordin produce his master's degree. I have worked openly, and everybody knows where I have worked. As a teacher, under the Teacher Service Commission, under the Children's Department, under the Director of Children's Services. I have also worked now as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Let Noordin tell us, after he left out of the country, which university he graduated from. He joined the Attorney General's office for a duration of 1 month, 12 days, as a state counsel. Where was he recruited? When was he recruited? And when did he leave to join NIS? Noordin calls me a busybody. He has never argued even one case, a simple case of stealing of a banana or chicken. That is the Director of Public Prosecution. A man who has never argued even one case. Remember, he has pursued Governor Waititu, and this asking, show us even one classmate of Governor Waititu. I'm daring Noordin Haji, show me one student you were with at the School of Law. Show me one advocate where you went for pupillage. Show me any classmate of yours in the legal sector. There's no difference between you, Noordin Haji, and Waititu. So, calling advocates as busybodies. Within my law firm, there are young advocates who are 2-3 years in admission. The Director of Public Prosecution, instead of coming and arguing with them in court, he chooses to go to NTV AM Live in the morning, where nobody can be able to ask him a question. In the petitions we filed, the first petition, we asked for transcripts of Noordin when he was being interviewed for the position of Director of Public Prosecution. He's the only guy who was interviewed in camera. All the others were interviewed in public with a pretense that he was working for NIS. 2, in Parliament when he was being vetted, he read a statement. He was never questioned. The clips are there. He says he is a prosecutor in chief, the commander of prosecution. He has never even known any courtroom in this country. He sees the courtrooms on media. That is the command. Noordin says, I have stopped the war against corruption. He is admitting that a mere advocate can derail the war against corruption. He needs to vacate that office. If an advocate can argue a matter and adjourn that matter against his lieutenants, then that is an indictment that we have the most incompetent, the most useless person sitting in the office of the DPP. Remember, Danstan Omari has never been recommended by anybody to be arrested and be charged for any criminal offense. One Noordin Haji has, the DCI has recommended he be arrested and be charged for forgery. That is a criminal suspect. I can understand why he is bitter with us. We have raised very fundamental issues, that he has turned the office of the Director of Public Prosecution into an employment bureau for his relatives and religious adherents to the contrary of the Christian faith. I know why he's bitter with us, because he cannot face us. Mr. Noordin, come to court, prosecute your matter, I will defend the person you have arrested, you will score 0. That is why you have avoided coming to court. Mr. Noordin Haji is advising the public that Sonko has chosen wrong advocates. Noordin Haji has been hounding Sonko left and right. When did Noordin Haji, 1, appear in a civil matter, if he cannot appear in a criminal matter? Sonko has a right to be represented by an advocate of their own choice. And it can't be Noordin because he doesn't have papers to represent anybody. He doesn't. So let it go, that statement calling us busybodies, saying that we are delaying the war against corruption, is in response. Remember, we wrote a letter to the president saying the president should tell Noordin HAJI to resign because he is the bottleneck. He is the most person who has stopped the war against corruption. Noordin HAJI, don't arrest, don't charge any criminal suspect. One Noordin HAJI, on a particular day, you will see one Noordin HAJI on top of a political vehicle in Garissa, campaigning for the party called UPIA. Is that the person who is fit to be the director of public prosecution? He's a politician affiliated to the Kenya Kwanza Brigade, so that the president, every time the president wants people arrested and arraigned in court, one Noordin HAJI has given a blanket insurance for the Kenya Kwanza people not to be arrested. KEMSA. Is it me who has stopped the arrest and arraignment of KEMSA billionaires from the Republic of people who died out of COVID? That is one man without the heart of this country. And I think his allegiance is to the Somali Republic. The war against the guidelines to charge terrorism is because he is protecting his brothers who come from that region. So today he has come out very clearly saying, it is me who is the hindrance, plus these young advocates, for the war against corruption. I'm sure the president heard that. I don't control the judiciary. I don't control the prosecutors. I don't control anything. We represent Sonko. A constitutional office holder giving advice on a case of the person he has sued, Sonko, is lucky. One Justice Macau, now retired, Noordin got an order stopping any petition being filed to the Public Service Commission for his removal. This could be a great ground to remove one Noordin HAJI, but he has a court order stopping him not to be removed from office, but he does not want Sonko, Governor Sonko, to enjoy the fruits of the courts. So, our challenge, the media, tell him, let him come court tomorrow, let him take one file, I will be on the other side, let us test him whether he can argue one case. Remember the case of the DCJ. He could not get an advocate, he could not get a state counsel competent to argue the matter. He admitted incompetency and went to get a Queen's Counsel from UK to represent the office of the DPP. Yet he is the one who is supposed to lead the war against criminals in court. He is comfortable on top of TV stations where I also sit, but after that I come to court. He sits on the TV platforms, he remains there, he's paid for that. A prosecutor is a pilot who pilots a plane. A driver who has never driven a car is Noordin HAJI. Show us any evidence. And we are challenging him. We have always matters. Let him come and prosecute tomorrow